I had the good fortune in my life to visit Palestine on 9 separate occasions, and what I come back with always is a sense of anger at what I see, but also a sense of unbelievable amazement at the strength of Palestinian art, music, culture, literature, history, community and solidarity. And it's very important that we present the Palestinian people for their strength, for the horror they're going through, yes, but also don't forget, there are people with a history, there are people with music, there are people with poetry, they are a people that should be respected all around the world. So we also demand the immediate recognition of Palestine as well. Now, politics is about what we can do ourselves, and this is where the question of what Britain has been doing is very important. Now, I guess everyone here is pretty well aware of the history of partition, of 1948, of Nakba, and so on, and the British role as the administrator of the mandated territories. But what is not necessarily always appreciated is that ever since the late 1940s, Britain has had a security arrangement with Israel, has been an important supplier of weapons and information to Israel, and the use of the sovereign bases in Cyprus, particularly Royal Air Force Akrotiri, have been a very important part in delivery of weapons to Israel. And so what we've concentrated on, this group of us in Parliament who meet at least once a week to discuss parliamentary tactics, is the question of arms supplies. Now, I've been asking the same question about components for the F-35 jets for over a year. They started off denying. Then they eventually admitted that Britain did provide 15% of the components of F-35 jets. They then tried to claim it was impossible to identify what happened to the parts once they'd been sold into the global supply chain, which I have to say is the biggest load of hogwash I've ever heard in my life. They know exactly where the parts go. They're all measured, they're recorded, they're properly labelled and all the rest of it. They know exactly what's happening to them. The truth of the matter is that without the parts and the components made in Britain, the F-35 jets couldn't fly. So be it on the government's head that they are complicit in the bombing of schools, hospitals, homes, and the livelihood of people. Now, I went to the International Court of Justice to hear the application being made by South Africa. To me, it was a very moving occasion. A country that had thrown off the shackles of apartheid was prepared to take on another apartheid regime in order to try and bring about peace for the Palestinian people. And we know what the result of that was. We know what the result of the International Criminal Court decision was. But also, we're pushing further on this. And so I put in a private member's bill, which we got through its first stage, calling for an independent public inquiry into British policy making and complicity on the events that have been going on in Gaza. I'm not going to let this thing go. It comes up in Parliament next Friday, where I'm fully expecting the government will try to block this piece of legislation. Okay, that's a parliamentary tactic they can use. It's not going to take the issue away. I'm going to carry on with demanding and getting a public inquiry into who gave the advice, who gave the evidence, what legal advice was given, and why this country has put itself on the wrong side of international law where the crime of genocide is concerned. And so, watch this space. We're going to carry on with this, and I look forward to working with all of you on getting to the truth in this. And the last thing I say is we've all been on all of the marches. I think there's been 27 national marches and many, many other local ones, and there's going to be many, many more. We carry on doing them. And last night we had a very interesting discussion with the wonderful Mustafa Barghouti, who was briefly in Finsbury Park last night, and I spent an hour or so with him in discussion about how things are going. And he said, please never underestimate how important the presence of all of you on the streets of Britain, which gets conveyed by phone, television, radio, and all the rest of it to the people of Gaza and the West Bank. Never underestimate how important your acts of solidarity are. And so we express solidarity wherever we can. We demand divestment, we demand a boycott of goods, etc., etc. But also, some of it's very successful. Co-op members demanded, and the co-op, to their credit, the co-op no longer stocks any Israeli goods. So my advice is shop at the co-op as an act of solidarity with the Palestinian people. And for those that wish to condemn us for who we are and what they believe we are, I just simply say this: we are people, we are Jews, we are Christians, we are Muslims, we are Hindus, we are Buddhists, we are humanists, we're a whole variety of people. We come from all over the world, we come from all parts of the globe, and we're united in our support for the people of Palestine. And one of the biggest blocks on our marches is actually the Jewish Voice for Palestine. So let's not allow anybody to throw disgraceful slurs at us. We are a united people, united to end genocide, to end occupation, and give peace and liberty to the Palestinian people. Thank you very much.
Our favourite MP, Jeremy Corbyn, thank you so much. Next up, one of Islington PSC's favourite councillors, Councillor Benali Hamdash, leader of the Independent and Green Party group.
Hello everyone. I've been racking my brain to think about what to say today for weeks because it feels like everything's been said. How many times can you tell the world a genocide is happening? How many times can you tell the world that children are dying every day, and to have those in power turn a blind eye? How many times can you tell this Labour government that they are complicit in everything that is going on, and still they can manage nothing better than a frowned face and a tutted finger, but still be complicit in every single war crime and action happening in Gaza today? The fact is, this Labour government gave Israel a blank cheque the day that they said war crimes were okay. The day that Emily Thornberry said it was okay to turn water off and to use starvation as a weapon against the Palestinian people, gave a free licence and a direct line to everything that is happening today.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
So, again, racking my brains, I want to really thank Islington PSC. Because when our government is complicit, when our government is unlistening, when the world's governments are unlistening, this is how we win. This is community power. This is how we make Israel the pariah state it should have been for decades. I want to share a story. So I'm half Algerian, and hello. My granddad was a councillor during the French occupation, and he took to the streets. He protested against the lack of rights Algerians faced, and they rewarded him with 2 years in prison. During his time in prison, 2 of his kids died, and when he came out of prison, he had to leave the city that he'd been born in because it wasn't safe for him. But there's a lesson from that decolonisation story in places like Algeria across the world. France made itself a pariah state. The way it attacked the Algerian people, the way it massacred the Algerian people, forced global pressure for it to withdraw after over a century of colonisation. We can win this battle. We have to show that if you are complicit in any way with Israel, we will use our power, our financial, our moral, our community power to stop you, to show you, to vote you out. Whatever way we can, we will win this fight. Because the level of cruelty of this Israeli government is unimaginable. as we heard earlier, they are shooting people on the way to pick up food. Shame! It's time for action. We're here today to say no to Barclays, a massive enforcer of crimes across the world. Not only in Gaza, but against the climate as well. They are the biggest funder of fossil fuels across Europe, and they've been complicit in war crimes across the world for decades. It's time for the council to divest. It's time for all of us to use our money to take it out of those things that are poisonous for people and planet. Let's keep spreading that message. Let's build community power. Let's show Islington is on the side of peace and justice today and forever.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Councillor Ilkay, Deputy Leader of the Independent and Green Party, Islington Independents, who's... I'm not going to say anymore.
Hi comrades.
Hello.
I wrote a speech, it was 9 pages long. This is the only thing that I could reduce it to because I have a lot to say about this. But here we go. We all know why we're here today. We are not just individuals, but as part of a global movement, one that refuses to stay silent in the face of injustice and that defends our fundamental right to peaceful protest.